Inconvenient truth or status quo? Prevention by whole plant foods or death by medication side effects? Truth is not extensively broadcast. The scientific findings and research studies are buried under mounds of irrelevant and even sometimes harmful junk science information, food industry propaganda, and highly trendy fad diets. Why? Big food companies and profits? The unfortunate reality for us as consumers is that certain groups of people are making huge amounts of money selling foods that are unhealthy. In fact, they want us to continue buying these products even though eating them makes us fat, diminishes our vitality, shortens our lifespan, and decreases the quality of life. They prefer we remain ignorant, inactive, and complacent, knowing full well that once we understand how their products hurt us, we'll stop buying them. They're quite willing to spend billions of dollars in promotions and so-called research to accomplish their sales goals. Medications and technology development. Why does mankind seek scientific cures and breakthroughs in drugs when much more powerful solutions with no life-threatening side effects, unlike many medications, already exist? Is it for money, fame, or power? Whole foods have more evidence of treating and preventing disease than any drug. Patents frequently supply the promise of financial rewards. Could it be that since companies cannot procure a patent on technology of broccoli, flaxseed, or other whole foods, is cause for their lack of interest? Could it be that their profit is put before our health? I think so. It's too bad that all that energy and talent is not being directed towards solving and improving human health problems. Have you seen some of the ads for prescription medications and their associated side effects? Let's look at two of the most popular medications prescribed today. Lisinopril is used to treat high blood pressure or congestive heart failure. It is also used to reduce the risk of death after a heart attack. Commonly reported side effects of lisinopril include hypotension, dizziness, hyperkalemia, increased blood urea nitrogen, and increased serum creatinine. Other side effects include headache, blurred vision, cloudy urine, confusion, decrease in urine output or decrease in urine concentrating ability, dizziness, faintness, or lightheadedness when getting up suddenly from a lying or sitting position, sweating, unusual tiredness, or weakness. Wow, that sounds fun. I could take the medication or I could eat more whole food plant-based products. Lipitor belongs to a group of drugs called HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors, or statins. Lipitor reduces the levels of bad cholesterol, the low-density lipoprotein, or LDL, and triglycerides in the blood, while increasing levels of the good cholesterol, the HDL, or high-density lipoprotein. It is used to treat high cholesterol and lower the risk of stroke, heart attack, or other heart complications in people with type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, or other risk factors. Lipitor can cause a condition that results in the breakdown of skeletal muscle tissue, leading to kidney failure. This condition may be more likely to occur in older adults and people who have kidney disease or poorly controlled underactive thyroid. This medicine can also harm an unborn baby or cause birth defects. Do not use this medication if you are pregnant. Stop taking Lipitor and tell your doctor right away if you become pregnant. Use effective birth control to prevent pregnancy while you are taking this medicine. Lipitor may be passed on into the breast milk and could harm a nursing baby. Do not breastfeed while taking Lipitor. Wow, that sounds healthy. I could take the medication, or I could eat less quantities of animal products containing cholesterol. The top two killers of mankind in the United States are heart disease, which includes high blood pressure and stroke, and cancer. Respiratory disease ranks number 4, accidents rank number 5, and diabetes rank number 6. The number 3 reason will be discussed in a different video entitled "The Healthcare System Can Kill." It has been shown repeatedly with a plethora of research that heart disease can be reversed with diet alone, without medications. Cancer is activated by a diet high in animal products, not with a diet high in plant-based whole foods. Diabetes is linked to diets high in animal protein, animal cholesterol, and animal fat. A nutritious diet is the absolute most powerful weapon we have against disease and illness. What we eat becomes part of us. It literally becomes us. If you ingest chemicals, the chemicals become part of you and in your DNA. Nutritious foods do not come with the dangerous side effects as do the two medications previously described. In 1960, we spent $146 per person on healthcare expenditures. In 2004, we spent $6,472 per person, and in 2014, that number leaped to over $9,530. Even when considering inflation, our spending as a percentage of the gross domestic product has increased 300% in less than 40 years. We are spending more dollars, yet is all this extra spending leading to a decrease in incidence of disease? Heart disease is still the leading cause of death for men and women. About 610,000 Americans die from heart disease every year. That accounts for 1 out of every 4 deaths. Every 43 seconds, someone's life in the United States is ended from heart disease. What are we up against as consumers? Fad diets, confusion, misleading information, and early death despite billions of dollars spent on research. What we don't understand and what we don't know will cause harm to our health. Who can you trust? Trust yourself. Get educated, investigate research studies, learn how the human body functions and how nutrition impacts the body. Trust your own education, intelligence, and experience. This is the mission and purpose of my health and wellness advisor, in case you didn't already know. Attaining absolute proof in science is nearly impossible. The best research has the power to do is provide a preponderance of evidence, what is likely to be true. One example of such preponderance of truth is this. Nutrition can turn off genetic predisposition of disease. While poor nutrition can activate disease, healthy nutrition can prevent the disease from activating in the first place. If you think genes trump everything, you are mistaken. Nutrition trumps genetics. Why do we believe that a dependence on drugs and surgery can regulate or improve our health? It cannot. Why do we fall for this fallacy? The fact is, consuming the proper nutrients would largely eliminate the huge cost of needing to use medications and their side effects. Fewer people would need long, drawn-out, and expensive hospital stays to fight chronic disease. Healthcare costs would drop and medical mistakes would happen less frequently if only we ate more healthy nutrients every day. Why do we continue to look to science to find the answers to keep us healthy when the answers already exist within nature? Are we that blind and arrogant to think that we can do better than nature? Or are we so greedy and selfish that chasing after profits are more important than the well-being of our fellow man? The scientific results exist, showing the amazing disease-preventing and health maintenance benefits of nutritious plant-based whole foods. This must be announced and repeated to the public. It is time to stand up and proclaim the inconvenient truth and take control of our own health. Let's look at cancer as an example. Cancer has 3 stages: initiation, promotion, and progression. The initiation stage is the time required for the chemical carcinogen to be consumed, absorbed into the blood, transported into the cells, converted into its active product, bonded to DNA, and passed on to the daughter cells. This can take place in a very short period of time, even as little as a few minutes. In the promotion stage, the newly formed cancer-prone cells are ready to grow and multiply until they become a visibly detectable cancer. When the newly initiated cluster multiplies and grows into progressively larger masses, a clinically visible tumor is formed. This stage takes place over a much longer period of time than initiation, for humans often many years. The final stage of progression commences when large amounts of advanced cancer cells progress in their growth until they have inflicted their final damage. When the cell mass breaks away from its initial home and wanders, it is called metastasizing. This final stage results in death. A smaller intake of animal protein dramatically decreases the incidence of cancer tumor initiation. The rate of cancer growth in the promotion stage is likewise controlled by the amount of animal protein ingested. People fed a diet containing 20% animal protein in their diets dramatically increased cancer promotion. Conversely, a diet of only 5% animal protein sharply decreased cancer promotion. Plant-based protein does not promote cancer growth like animal protein. The effects of eating animal proteins in humans are not limited to cancer. Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Jr. demonstrated through research that the proper foods can reverse heart disease. He opened the clogged arteries in 70% of his patients by following a low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet. When we refer to whole food, we are not referring to refined plant-based foods like white bread or pasta. What's the difference? Eating foods in their optimal natural state produce more nutrients than they do once processed. A whole food is the most natural form of the food, given that it comes directly from the plant. It is the natural form picked, plucked, and dug up from the ground, plant, or tree. Each step of refining and processing removes vital nutrients from the food source. Corn on the cob is more nutritious than dried corn grounded into cornmeal and then made into tortillas. Corn on the cob contains more nutrients and less fat than tortillas cut and fried into tortilla chips. Corn on the cob is the whole food. Potatoes and strawberries are also whole foods, but the moment potatoes are dried into flakes, spices and flavorings added, molded into stackable wedges, and deep fried, they are no longer a whole food. Likewise, mashed strawberries with colorings and sugars added, filled into a white flour toaster pastry, is no longer a whole food. Another way to make this distinction is to ask yourself this question and insert the product name into the blank. Is there such a thing as a blank tree, bush, or plant? If the answer is no, then it is not a whole food. Try it. Is there such a thing as a toaster pastry tree? The answer is no. Therefore, toaster pastries are not a whole food. Is there such a thing as a broccoli plant? The answer is yes. Therefore, broccoli is a whole food. Dr. Dean Ornish in the Lifestyle Heart Trial demonstrated a regression in 82% of his patients' heart disease within a 1-year period. On average, their total cholesterol dropped from 227 milligrams to 172 milligrams. How did he accomplish this? By eating a low-fat, plant-based diet. For this diet, only 10% of their calories could come from fat sources. They could eat as much fruits, vegetables, and grains as they wanted. No animal products were permitted except for egg white and 1 cup of non-fat milk or yogurt a day. In addition to the nutrition plan, his patients were asked to exercise for 3 hours each week and practice stress management techniques for an hour every day. What we have learned. The best diet to prevent cancer is also the best diet to prevent heart disease, obesity, diabetes, cataracts, macular degeneration, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, cognitive dysfunction, multiple sclerosis, and several other diseases. The diseases listed above, along with others, originate from the same source of influence: the implementation of an unhealthy, mostly toxic diet and the lifestyle that promotes an excess of sickness-promoting factors and a deficiency of health-promoting factors. What is the best diet? A whole food, plant-based diet. Isn't that amazing, yet wonderfully simple? So why aren't there more people hearing about this remarkable, groundbreaking information and actually using it every day? The healthcare establishment is structured to profit from surgical and chemical intervention. Diet is placed on the back burner and receives little to no attention. One critique leveled by the establishment is that patients will not make such a fundamental change. There is no greater disrespect than to withhold potentially life-saving information from the public, when based on the assumption that we, the people, do not want to change and improve our lifestyles. As an example, consider the American Heart Association. The diet recommended by the AHA favors moderation rather than scientific truth. So does the National Cholesterol Education Program. These organizations promote moderate diets with trivial changes as being a healthy lifestyle goal. They recommend adopting a diet consisting of 30% of the total calories from fat and less than 200 milligrams per day of dietary cholesterol. They also suggest we should keep our desirable level of blood cholesterol under 200 milligrams per day. They are conveniently leaving out the most up-to-date scientific information, which clearly shows that 35% of heart attacks strike Americans who have cholesterol levels between 150 milligrams and 200. The only true safe level of cholesterol is under 150 milligrams. The most aggressive reversal of heart disease occurred when fat was 10% of the total calorie intake. Studies have clearly demonstrated that moderate fat amounts of 30%, as recommended by the government and other agencies, actually display a progression of heart disease. Eating a whole food plant-based diet while eliminating animal products is too inconvenient and too impractical for the public, and they are not likely to follow, according to some scientific researchers and doctors. What? I am insulted and angry. Who are they to deem it's too inconvenient and too difficult for me to follow? Why don't you give me the straight truth and let me make my own decision? I'd rather use whole foods as a preventative measure than to treat a disease with drugs that include side effects, such as death. To me, that is inconvenient.